Hello YouTube, it's me John Avenger once again and welcome to another House of Horrors review. This one is a 2003 direct-to-video American-Romanian vampire film directed by Paco Lossier. It stars Jason Scott Lee, Stephen Billington, and Diane Neal. It was filmed entirely in Romania. You could tell because this doesn't look like America at all from the first opening scene. By Castle Film Studios. The film is the sequel to Dracula 2000, which I reviewed a long time ago. It was released direct-to-video on June 7, 2003. Dracula 2, Ascension. This was alright at best. I know a lot of people hated this movie. A lot of critics hated it. They said it's worse than Dracula 2000. It's not better than it, but it's alright. It has its moments. It's short. It's only 81 minutes. My biggest problem with the movie was the ending, but I'll get to that. It's its own plot. It's not a sequel. It's not a direct, sequel to the first one. It's something completely different. The film opens with a priest, Father Uffizi, hunting down a pair of twin female vampires. He manages to kill them, but not before one of them bites him and infects him with the vampirism. And then there's a bunch of medical students that go to, they work at a morgue that vampires show up in, and then chaos ensues. It's got a decent cast because Jason Scott Lee is a good lead. Well, he's one of the leads. You got Jason London. He's Luke. He's one of the better characters in the movie. You got Carrie Payton. Yes, the voice of Cyborg from Teen Titans is the black guy here. He's Kenny. Of course, he dies because in the 2000s, the minority always gets it in the beginning. But I didn't say anything. That's just how it was in the late 90s, early 2000s. Things have changed now because of Get Out and all this. You have Craig Sheffer, who's not good in the film. I didn't even like him in Hellraiser Inferno. He plays a person in a wheelchair with his head like this. And then at the end, he becomes a vampire, and he just, I'm healed. I can walk now. He's over the top. He has this Batman voice, and I'm sick of that. And he's just not good in the movie. You have Diane Neal as the main girl. She's fine. Got Brandy Roderick as Tanya. She's pretty lovely. She was in Baywatch. At least this movie has some women in it, some very beautiful looking women. But the worst actor in the movie is the British dude. Yeah, I'm not surprised either, guys. You know how they usually ruin everything for me. 90% of the stuff I've watched this year or in the past 2 decades is always a bento shows up and they peg down, the movie goes down a peg or 2 or 12 in the case of the sequel trilogy. But that's just my opinion. Don't say I'm a racist. It's my preference. Stephen Billington is Dracula 2. Yeah, John Light as Eric. He's terrible. He thinks he's freaking Benedict Cumberbatch, and he's not. He's got all the charisma of a dry sponge. Roy Scheider has a cameo in the movie. John Light could have been cut from this movie, and it would not make a difference, really. And like I said, what my problem with the movie is that the ending, it leads to it's a sequel bait ending, and there is a sequel that I have to see, but it shouldn't have been sequel bait ending. Be self-contained. There's violence in the movies, practical gore. The vampires are not CGI, so there's that. This got a 0% Rotten Tomatoes. No, get out of here. I've seen way worse than this. I saw Tarot this year, and that is way worse. And Night Swim. This at least is R-rated. It's not PG-13. It doesn't hold back with the violence. Jason Scott Lee decapitates people with this hook thing that he has that he cuts vampires' heads off. It's pretty awesome. And like I said, the action when it's there, the location, I like the location for what it is. It's nothing scary per se. I wasn't scared, but I thought the film was fine. It's a lot better than it should have been for a direct-to-video sequel, especially since there's so many vampire movies that go direct-to-video. Now it's direct-to-streaming because video is practically dead now because everything is streamed. Or, direct to VOD. It's video on demand now. Because nothing is video on a VHS or a DVD anymore. Everything is on streaming. But if you could see this movie, it's on Max. Try to see it if you can, at least once. If you saw Dracula 2000 and you like that style of vampire movie, there's no sparkling vampires here like in Twilight, so at least it has that going for it. And some young actors. There's also a thing in the third act that I was not a fan of, but again, it was in the last movie, so because you know how they have in vampire movies they have crucifixes and insignias. Yeah, I've never been a fan of that. There should have been better ways to kill vampires besides that. I get the stake in the heart and sunlight and garlic and all that, but insignias, I don't get it. I don't understand. It doesn't stop a zombie, but anyway, um, it's very basic. If you've seen one vampire movie, you've seen it all. But this is not that bad. It's not a 0%. Trust me. From Dusk Till Dawn 3 is worse than this, or any of the Twilight movies, because they're long and boring. This is short, an hour and 21 minutes. You go in, you go out, it's over. And then there's another movie, a third one. I think it's called Prophecy or something like that. Yeah, a Legacy, Dracula 3 Legacy. I'll see that one and review it next week after Comic-Con. Hopefully it's better than the last one. It doesn't have John Light in it, at least, because he was horrible in the second movie. Horrible. That one, Jason London comes back. Roy Scheider is a cameo. Diane Neal, Jason Scott Lee. So, yeah. It's got to be better than this one, at least with the ending. And then you have Dracula 3000, which has nothing to do with this, with Coolio. But anyway, Dracula 2 Ascension is fine. Don't expect the world out of it. Just expect a one watch, and you'll be fine. So that's my review of Dracula Ascension. See you in the next one. Acknowledge me and take care.